Kyle. Get up.
5 more minutes.
No. It's been a month since you did your last video.
In a magical part of England known only as up to north, I've driven 2 different TeamSport karting tracks, the first being Nottingham and the second being Bradford. The common factor between those two is that both tracks were designed to try and take me off the earth, and one very nearly did. But here we are today at Leeds, and I'm certainly, that the third time's gonna be the charm, and I'm not gonna be cashing in my pension at 26 years old. Rats. Yep, here we are at TeamSport Leeds, a pretty old school style track, featuring such serene and relaxing sections as the Bridge of Death, and even featuring a pit lane that has you sailing down a ramp like an Alton Towers ride, one human error away from £1 million lawsuit. I've wanted to come here for a very long time, ever since I found this absolute banger of a video that I urge you to go and watch after you're done here. I'm here with my crew again, as per, but this time, the Bradford Bandits have decided to tag along, and it's just my luck that it's them that I'm going to be tangling with the most, on a track about as safe as being in a honey badger enclosure wearing a mankini. So, I hopped into my kart, recited my prayers to the goddess of victory in hopes of my survival, and descended the pit exit ramp directly into the war zone. Let's go! Alright, so the first lap took place under the yellow flags, which gives me a great opportunity to explain the layout. This is a chicane right here, which is the first corner we came to after we left the pits, where the first marshal post is, where I got told to flip my visor up. After a left-hander there, it's straight over this bridge, leading us to a right-hander hairpin. Immediately following that is this left-hander hairpin here, as well as this little straight, which takes us towards a double apex, which of course takes us towards the dreaded Bridge of Death. It may seem like a quite unassuming part of the track, but don't you worry, at full race pace, that bridge is terrifying. We've then got a double hairpin at the back of the track right here. Lord knows how much I love a good double hairpin. And then following that is a long and lovely straight directly under the pit lane, where the Bradford members in front of me have decided to practice their ballet.
These guys are ballet dancing in front of me, man.
After another half lap of us dragging our posteriors around under yellow flags, the lights finally went green and it was time to go racing. I did my best to start chasing after these guys right here, but I'm about to see exactly why they call it the Bridge of Death. In true TeamSport fashion, the session then immediately goes red, giving me a great excuse to stop with this guy and explain exactly why I'm screaming.
Sparks came off the back of your car. Sparks came off the back of your cart. Yeah.
After rather cheekily using the yellow flag restart as an excuse to overtake this guy.
No! Bad Perico, no!
I think it's time to try a lap at actual full pace to see if we can get through the entire thing without a flag. So I've now crept up to the back of Jamie Moore here, who I'm going to have a pretty extensive battle with as this session goes on, but I'm kind of following his lines for the time being, because for the first session, I did not look up a lap at all, so I'm just trying to figure out everything as I go. I go through these hairpins a little scruffier than he does, and he starts to run away with it. However, I am starting to enjoy the winding nature of this track, right up until we get to this part, which, as you can hear from the background, is absolutely terrifying. You go quick enough through that corner, you catch air. You get close enough to those barriers, you run the risk of bouncing directly off them. I can't even begin to imagine the number of injuries that specific section of the track is responsible for, and to be honest, I absolutely love it and hope they never change it. Not every reaction I had going through the Bridge of Death was an absolute girly scream. At least a few of them were guttural grunts of pain, as you're about to hear. There is a very specific line through the Bridge of Death that you have to take in order to preserve your speed. That was not it. I caught air on the way down and then absolutely slid on my exit, because it is absolutely lethal if you get it even slightly wrong. However though, I think it's actually time for me to show you a full lap of this track under race pace, because it actually flows really well. That chicane works pretty well as an opening corner after you've just crossed the line. These hairpins offer some fantastic overtaking opportunities, including one that I'm going to show off later that I'm really, really proud of, given who it was against anyway. And then, of course, going into the Bridge of Death, as intimidating as it is, if you get it right, it's rather rewarding to do. And then you've got another set of double hairpins that you need to take, which will slow you down a lot more, meaning that getting it right in the Bridge of Death is a lot more rewarding. Then you just have this one long direct straight home over the line, which feels like your reward at the end of a lap in the same way that the Nordschleife straight is. Although this track is about 9,000 times shorter than the Nordschleife and probably just as deadly. For now though, let's have a little bit of a battle with Jamie right here, because we've not had a whole lot happen this session because this has been our first time out. He is clearly very frustrated by the fact that my car has a lot of straight line speed coming down that straight, but in order to give him the space, I kind of just back off a lot going through that final corner. I follow him through this little slalom here as we go up the bridge. I hug the left-hand side while he sticks to the right. He's constantly shoulder checking me, but because I'm close enough to him here, I absolutely throw it down the inside. I make a little bit of a messy overtake there, but I managed to lock him out in this corner here, and that was an on-pace overtake at TeamSport Leeds, followed by another absolutely terrifying excursion underneath the bridge. Not a whole lot happened after that though, so I think it's time to actually pull into the pits. I say pull into the pits, I more mean pull up to the pits, because this track has the most interesting pit lane of any karting track in the country, which means you have to go up a ramp to get in and down a ramp to get out. This has been a fun track.
But wait, there's more!
Triple kill!
Yep, I think it's time to hop directly into the second session here without that little debrief I normally do in the middle, because frankly, this video is very, very late and I am very, very sorry. Kart 20 is going to be my chariot into battle this time, but what I am not ready for is the fact that I'm going to be battling multiple Bradford members at once. Yeah, this is going to be interesting, so let's get going, shall we? I have done many daunting things when it comes to go-karting, but not many things were as daunting as a green flag start in a big pack directly under the Bridge of Death at TeamSport Leeds, because this could have gone many different ways, but fortunately it actually went rather well. I'm following the Bradford members here as 3 of us managed to get past Ashley on the outside here, and I begin chasing after Lewis and Jamie going underneath the mezzanine here. Now, there's going to be a very common theme when it comes to this session, and that is, well, you know about the hang loose, right? That silly little hand gesture I do whenever I overtake someone or do something cool. Well, these guys thought it would be absolutely hilarious to start doing it themselves, which is why I'm going to bring up this counter right here and add one on every time one of them does that to me. What begins here is a pretty interesting battle with Jamie up ahead of me. That isn't the first of the hang looses that's going to be added to the counter. He's actually fist bumping because this kart I've gotten is notably slower in a straight line than the one I had before, but I'm still able to keep up to the back of him. He gets sent a little bit deep by me accidentally nudging him going through the slalom, so I offer him the inside. Well, to be fair, he already had it, to be honest. But he closes over the top of me here, which means that he effectively forces himself wide into that corner, so I end up going on the inside. I get nudged out of the way. He takes the inside coming through the Bridge of Death again. Things are getting really, really bumpy between us two here, and it's actually a rather fun battle considering, you know, it's not for position. We can get a little bit argy-bargy about it. So I do my best to tail him coming under this mezzanine here. He's keeping his eyes fervently on me to see if I try a late dive to the inside on this hairpin here. I accidentally nudge him again because I break deep going through that corner. We're now side by side coming through the slalom going over the line. Ashley almost shows me what those barriers look like on the exit of that corner because my braking point was a bit erratic. I'm trying to follow Jamie through these corners here. There's not enough room for me to make a move there, so things just kind of tuck in right here as he goes full defensive to try and stop me from getting through. We've been having that much fun having this bumpy battle that the marshals had to remind us that we are not in fact on the fairground bumper cars, but on a karting track. Now, remember that move I mentioned at the start that I said I was really proud of? This is it. My exit through this corner is very wide, but for a reason, because I dive to the apex of the second hairpin, effectively locking Jamie out and securing an incredible move. That felt good to do, and it looks good to watch back, so I celebrate with a little bit of airtime going through the death bridge. However, that's definitely not going to be the last I see of Jamie, and very soon he's going to make his return. As I very carefully navigate around this person here, I go sailing through the straight under the mezzanine, when all of a sudden when I go to make this corner, there he is. He's making a move on the inside. We are now side by side coming through this slalom again, but I just managed to lock him out with a little bit of exit speed. But he is now actively hunting to get past me again, but unfortunately the battle comes to a temporary halt because we've got a yellow flag. If you just conveniently ignore the fact that I've closed up this much distance on Lewis and KJ here, and instead pay attention to the rather interesting indoor human DRS tactic that Lewis is deploying right there, then I can basically just say what I was going to say at the start of the sentence, which is I've caught up to the back of Josh and Lewis. They seem to be locked in a little bit of a battle here. Josh is absolutely not letting Lewis through under any circumstances with some rather aggressive defending moves there. I'm trying to find my opportunity here, but I'm getting a bit too enthusiastic about it, accidentally bumping into the back of Lewis there and opening up one hell of a gap, because that's how these petrol carts work. You make mistakes, you suffer for it. This utter tomfoolery persists right up until this lap right here, where once again I go deep on my exit here, absolutely throw it to the apex of this corner, this time accidentally pressing Lewis into the barriers a little bit, but still, overtake is overtake. I'm absolutely taking that.
Oh, that hurt!
If you're wondering what I'm being such a wet lettuce about right there, my left goose egg just made a very unscheduled tennis serve with the base of the seat because of how violently I bounced. Any gentleman in the audience absolutely know just how painful that actually is. We're jumping ahead right here to this rather convenient yellow flag where as soon as things go green, this is going to be an absolute disaster for poor KJ here, who opts to go to the outside for some reason as a massive trail of carts comes through under the mezzanine. I take my opportunity, accidentally almost killing Josh in the process there. He's looking over at me with a bit of a death glare. KJ is on my inside trying to get his position back. He actually completes the overtake, but fortunately I've managed to get the inside coming towards this next hairpin. This battle has been rather intense, to be honest, but I've managed to lock him out right there and secure the position. But trust me, that does not mean that the battling is over, because of course, we've still got some more to go, haven't we? Remember that counter I talked about a little bit ago? It's now time to actually bring that out, because as Jamie gets the move done on the inside here, he immediately flashes me with a hang loose. Naturally, with Lewis making a move half a lap later, he does the exact same thing. As the session finally comes to an end, Jamie does it one more time because he's actually gotten ahead of me, which means that brings the hang loose counter up to a 3. I am convinced that there were more, but I can't find them, to be honest, and honestly, I just needed any excuse to put something else on the screen to keep your attention. Regardless, it's now time to box and pull the curtain on TeamSport Leeds.
Oh my god, I was battling so hard with them then. That was good.
So, Perico, where the hell have you been? To be honest with you, busy. Really busy. I've had no shortage of races in the last few weeks, and to be honest, literally all of them have been kind of useless footage-wise, except for a couple of 50-lap races I did at TeamSport Stoke. That's a future idea, but I didn't want to upload Stoke too soon because, well, I just did a video on Stoke, and, well, it was an amusing one, and it did well, to be fair, so maybe a follow-up on that whole story that video had is definitely on the cards. But really, I've been doing a whole lot. A lot of races that I've either not been able to record because Motorsport UK are trying to make my life difficult again, or just races where I led the entire thing and nothing really happened. I'm not saying that's a flex, that's just genuinely what's been going on. I've also been trying to hunt for a Miata, I've been preparing for BIKC, I've just been doing a whole lot, as well as, you know, just generally suffering with motivation issues to begin with, because, well, people with brains as scrambled as mine, we're not known for our focus, you know? However, TeamSport Leeds was an incredibly fun track to race on, and I really did enjoy it. That Bridge of Death definitely took a few years off of my life, as well as the battles I had with the Bradford bunch, who genuinely were really nice people. This took place immediately after the Bradford race, that's why they kind of followed us here, and honestly, they were sound the entire day. So again, thank you to the Bradford Bandits. And of course, thank you to all of the viewers, because I have been absent for a month now, something I promised myself I would never do, but I'm hoping in the coming weeks I'll definitely have some more footage, especially, well, with the fact that BIKC is right around the corner and I'm doing my locals at Stoke, and I'm actually going on holiday to Spain soon, and there is a karting track very close to my hotel, so maybe I can make something happen there. Regardless, thank you very much for watching. Sorry this video took so long. I'll see you in the next one. Until next time.